Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is David, this is David K Reacts, and today I am going to be reacting to the second video by Voctave on this channel, and that is going to be the Disney Showstoppers Medley. This is a video that is, again, a little older. They released this in 2017, but I've been told that it's a great way, having done the Princess Medley and met some of the ladies of Voctave, this is apparently a very good way of meeting some of the men of Voctave, including EJ Cardona, who I am already familiar with, having seen I Can't Make You Love Me by VoicePlay, which featured him as a guest artist, and he was extremely impressive, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does with this group. I assume this is his home group, and that he was sort of on loan to VoicePlay. I know they know the Cardona brothers because they've done stuff with Omar as well. I haven't seen him yet on the channel, but looking forward to bringing him in and one of the songs he did with VoicePlay sometime soon. But EJ, as I say, I have seen him in the one song, but nice to see him here on his home turf. Obviously he was in the Princess Medley but wasn't featured, I believe, because I saw in the description the soloists that he is one of the 3 soloists in this. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing what happens. Trying to think what would go into a Disney Showstoppers medley, but I don't really know how to predict this one because there are so many, and it's not like where VoicePlay had Disney heroes, Disney villains, Disney sidekicks. Showstoppers could be sung by anybody, so I have no idea what to expect. All male singers would suggest certain songs to me. But I don't know. There are many across the 100+ years of Disney. Well, 100 years, isn't it? Because it's still the 100th anniversary this year. So yeah, I'm just going to go for it and see what happens. But firstly, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is your first time here. The way this works is I'm going to listen to this video straight through without stopping it, and just emoting and commenting over the top, and I will then go back and watch it again from the beginning, but this time pausing, interrupting, and offering what commentary and analysis I feel like I can. Please do like this video if you enjoy it. Hit that subscribe button. It's free for you, but it's great for me. It really helps the channel. You don't have to get notifications, but if you would like some, hit the bell and you can select those. And if you would care to, head over to buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts, and you can buy a coffee there to help support the channel. I do actually, oops, I've yet again forgotten to bring my list up, but I do have some thanks on that front, as I have had some coffees bought for me recently, as well as contributions made to my channel, or to the sort of support of my channel. I think, I'm trying to figure out when I last, I think, yes, that was there. So Karina Rodebeck, and Rebecca, thank you, both of you, very much for contributing to the Quadcast microphone. That has now been fulfilled, and I will be ordering that as soon as the funds come through. And that's going to be a huge boon, firstly because I can return this microphone I'm using now, which I've been borrowing, and secondly because it will allow me to do a slightly different setup. With the boom that has also funded a little while ago, I should be able to actually have the mic above me, which will be lovely because it'll stop getting in the way of the screen when I'm trying to see what's going on, because right now, unfortunately, with my setup, the microphone is on the table directly in front of my screen. So this will be a huge boon. And also, many thanks to Virginia Small and Mel Dickover, both of whom have bought me coffees recently. I am very grateful to all of you for supporting the channel. Thank you very much indeed. Okay, and now, without any further delay, I'm very excited to see what's coming my way. Obviously, having now heard Voctave once, I know I'm going to get flooded with incredible harmony, and I'm really in the mood for that right now, so bring it on. This is Voctave's Disney Showstoppers Medley, arranged incidentally by Jamie Ray, of course, who is also one of the soloists in this, so I'm excited to hear him do his thing a little bit. They actually popped up on my TikTok recently. I've just started on TikTok. Hopefully I'll be getting some content out soon of some sort. I'm new to it. I don't really know how to use it, but we'll see how that goes. But yes, so I saw him there, but I haven't really had a chance to hear him let loose, so I'm excited to see what happens. So yes, Voctave, Disney Showstoppers Medley, let's go. Of course, should have thought of this.
Seaweed is always greener somewhere in somebody else's lake. You dream about going up there, but that is a big mistake. Just look at the world around you, right here on the ocean floor. Such wonderful things around
This is great.
What more is you looking for?
Oh,
Under the sea.
I like that time change.
Under the sea. Darling, it's better down where it's wetter. Take it from me. Up on the shore they work all day. Out in the sun they slave away. While we devoting full time to floating under the sea.
Oh, that's nice too. I love what they've done with this. This is so happy. Oh, this is nice. I like what they've done with the arrangement. Ooh, nice. Under the sea. Each little slug you're cutting or rug here under the sea. Each little sailor know how to wear you. I love this call and response. Ooh, hello, Kate. No one saying be there. Oh, yes. No one saying stop that. No one saying see here. Free to run around. This is great. Free to do it all my way. Love EJ's voice too. Everybody look left. Everybody look right. Everywhere you look, I stand in the spotlight. Every creature go for broke and see. Oh, yes, EJ. Wow. It's gonna be King Simba's finest way. Oh yeah, I just can't wait to be our guest. Oh, that's great. Command is your request. It's been years since we've had anybody here, and we're obsessed with your meal, with your ease. Yes, indeed, we aim to please. While the candlelight's still glowing, let us help you. We'll keep going. Oh, love it. Course, one by one, till you shout, enough, I'm done. Then we'll sing you off to sleep as you digest. Tonight, yes, Kate. Thank you. Oh, that chord. Oh, that's great. That is so good. Yes. Oh, yes, of course. Thank you, Kate. Oh, that's wonderful. That just made me so happy. And actually, in retrospect, I probably could have guessed two of those. I don't know why. I just Can't Wait to Be King for some reason wouldn't have come into my head, but obviously. But Under the Sea makes complete sense, and Be Our Guest rather makes complete sense as well. And actually, so does Just Can't Wait to Be King. Those are three fantastic songs, and wow, they showed off their singers well. Which was the assignment, and they did great. So, yeah, I absolutely loved that. That was so ebullient. I feel like it was like they just literally went in and said, we're going to have fun. We're going to enjoy this. We're going to do something upbeat. And let's really just make everybody smile. And, you know, mission accomplished. Jamie, consistently now, I say consistently after 2 videos, but hey, you know, 2 for 2. That's an extraordinary arrangement. I love it. I love what fascinates me with Voctave. because it's very different dealing with 11 people than it is dealing with 4 or 5. What I think is extraordinary about them is how they do such a good job of simultaneously showing off the soloist, but also having this full, I guess 10-part harmony underneath that doesn't get left behind. And that sounds like a weird statement to make, because how do you leave 10 people behind focusing on one? But I do think there's something to that, because it would be very easy to either actually flood the soloist, or like have everything balanced, or have all the singers pull back in such a way that it ended up kind of the harmony floating away a little bit. And I think, I say that's a huge exaggeration as to what I think would happen. But I think what I'm trying to say here is that Voctave just gets that balance perfectly, which is kudos to Jamie for arranging in a way that permits that, but also kudos to all 11 of them for maintaining such a spectacular balance between their sections. You can hear the breadth of the harmony that's in there. It's extremely wide, and yet it's just all in support of what's going on that we're supposed to be focusing on. And I stand by, things like Kate's little descant embellishments that we've got going on there do not detract from the arrangement, even when they're over the soloist. It's so wonderful. It's obvious that Jamie knows these people very well. He writes for them. He writes for what they can do and lets them show off, and does it in a way where everybody in the group compliments everybody else. And that is an extraordinary skill on everybody involved. And I'm just going on now because I'm happy, and I want to talk about how happy that made me. That's just... I'm going to go back. We're just going to go. We're starting again. Oops, that was the group. We're starting again. And, actually I had a purpose to me doing that, which was I just wanted to double check a couple of names here, which is why I was on here in the first place. Now, actually, question for... Do Voctave fans have a name? Like Pentaholics and Home Fries and Voice Players? I don't think I've seen it in any of the comments, but I'm also catching up with a bunch of comments. Let me know if there is one. But also let me know, is it the same 11 people? Because I think, unless I'm much mistaken, this is the same 11 as the Princess Medley. But is it the same 11 people every time they perform? I know, and yes, I'm aware that there are sometimes they don't have all 11. In which case, I guess, is the complement always made up of the same 11 people, whether it be 11 or fewer? Because I feel like over time they may have changed. I'm not sure. I think a couple of comments I read kind of led me to believe that. But I'm still learning this group, so any assistance greatly appreciated. Let's go back and see what awesomeness we can pull out of this, because wow, this was great. Firstly, I'm just going to address, because I have spoken about it in my Disney Princess Medley, I'm not going to go on too much about the fact that they're recording again in a studio, because this is the same setup that we had previously, and I've already talked about it. So my focus is going to be a little bit other, but I'm not ignoring that visual. I'm just recognizing the fact that I've already gone over it, and I don't want to repeat myself. If you haven't seen that particular reaction, right here, about now... Ooh, what's my hair doing? There should be a card, one of the little tabs that pops up, leading you back to the Disney Princess Medley. Please do check that out as well for more on this awesome group. But for now, let's go back to the Showstoppers and see this from the top. Did they already do something cooler? I mean, obviously yes, but sorry, that was a more directed question. Give me a second. Yes, they did. That bass line is really interesting. They don't land. There's an emphasis in the bass there that isn't where you expect it to be. On that fourth, they come back up again, faster than you expect. And it's interesting because for one, it does some. I've talked about things like this a lot. By bringing that note ahead, they're pushing the pace of the song on a little bit. But also, it catches the ear off guard. It's telling us immediately from the beginning of this isn't going to be quite what we expect it to be. And I like that because this arrangement. There's a lot of traditional Disney in this. Like they don't. It's not like they've taken a complete left turn and gone off somewhere else. It's still recognizable to the original, but they have definitely made it their own. They've made some tweaks that you are not going to recognize. You are going to go, oh, that's new, that's fun. And I like that they're setting that up 3 seconds into the song. Yeah. See, and there, the second time, the do-do-do, rather than do-do-do. That time they're back on it. And so we're leading into the song, having made that statement. We've said, hey, we're going to do something a little bit different. And the bass part is emphasized here, which is interesting. I'm hearing it in my headphones, at any rate, as being slightly louder than I might expect in the mix. And that's kind of cool, because we know what the do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Wow, that was flat. But we know what's going on up there. We recognize that. And so they're allowing themselves a little bit of leeway there to say, hey, we're going to make this our own.
Seaweed is always greener in somebody else's lake. You dream about going up there, but that is a big mistake.
And that's so interesting too. Having made that statement with the basses at the beginning of this, they're all but absent. Like, they're just doing a doo-dum. They're just giving you the upbeat into each bar, or into each 2 bars. And they're letting everybody else get on with it. And it's interesting because it all of a sudden we're lifted slightly. The arrangement is a little lighter than it was a second ago. And it changes the tenor of what we're hearing. The ear kind of, there's a little bit of compensation, I think. Your brain has a tendency to fill in things it thinks are missing. That's just something that human brains do. It's why if you've never spoken to somebody and you hear their voice on a telephone first, they will sound slightly different when you meet them, because your brain has assumed the rest of the vocal sound. And it's not necessarily, sometimes it's correct, but not necessarily, and so they sound a little different. Whereas if you know what they sound like already and you speak to them on a telephone, your brain goes, oh, I know how to do this, and slots the pieces into place to kind of fill it out a little bit. That's my understanding anyway. If that is scientific fiction, please confirm, but I understand it to be fact. You kind of get that with music too. If a bass section drops out, there's a small part of your brain that will still recognize it as being there, even though it's not. Which is interesting because it allows you to play with the arrangements so much. And I think that's really cool. The way that they've done it here is, let's set these basses up and then we're just going to take them completely out of the arrangement for the next 10 seconds or so. And it's nice because this is a very happy song. It is full of levity. It's, even though Sebastian's trying to make a point here, and try and convince Ariel not to spend so much time thinking about the surface, the song itself has, let's face it, has got to be one of the happiest that has ever come out of a Disney movie. There's a reason that this is as successful as it is. So I think that their choice to kind of focus on the upper registers for this is great.
The seaweed is always greener in somebody else's lake. You dream about going up there, but that is a big mistake.
And what's also interesting is, of course, that what is being filled in there sounds different. Do-do-do-do, 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 do-do-do-do. But actually, they're only taking do-do-do-do, 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 do-do-do-do. They're taking one note out. That's it. Do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do. That's all they're removing, and yet it's changed that sound. Again, it's a small thing, but it says, hey, this is our arrangement, this is what we're doing with it. And it's nice. It kind of gives a little bit more space for Sebastian, for Jamie here. And that's great. I like it.
You dream about going up there, but that is a big mistake. Just look at the world around you, right here on the ocean floor.
Listen to how much they're playing with the voices. Ocean floor. In 4 bars, you have 3 completely different textures of voice. You have ahs twice, do's, again, which we've already established as being part of the song, and then the lyrics. And that's so interesting, because it means we're constantly getting a change of texture underneath this. And I think this is a very good song to support that kind of methodology, because it's something that is familiar. We all, I mean, for all of these songs, of course we all know, you know, if you've heard these movies, you know these songs. But it allows a degree of freedom in the harmonic section, and I love that Jamie has used that rhythmically, not just harmonically.
Just look at the world around you, right here on the ocean floor. Such wonderful things around you. What more is you looking for?
Now there's a couple of lovely changes. First more, I like the what more is, like that jump up. Was it on is or you? And then the looking for pulls it back for a second before we launch again. And that's really nice, that little triplet rhythm that we've got there. It's something unexpected. And it's just, I think there's something about that. What more is you looking for? That's what Ariel's all about. Is looking for things, is trying to understand how other people live. She is always looking. What more is you looking for? My hand's off the screen. All of that up there. That's the whole film, isn't it? That's a really nice moment to focus on.
Such wonderful things around you. What more is you looking for? Under the sea, under the sea, under the sea, under the sea. Darling, it's better down where it's wetter. Take it from me.
I love the bass rhythm there. That's great. You got because the whole song has this kind of dum 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 feel about it. But listen to what the basses are doing. They break out of that rhythm. You've got this dum 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 dum. They go into 4/4, like standard quarter notes or crotchets if you're British like I am. I love that they're changing that up. That's really nice.
Looking for under the sea, under the sea, under the sea, under the sea. Darling, it's better down where it's wetter. Take it from me.
I think what's also so fascinating is that what's going on above, like Jamie himself and the support that's coming from the sopranos, altos, and tenors, is all relatively conventional. And so it's allowing the basses to have a moment. And it's great because they do, just like the ladies were a moment ago with the, and I guess it was probably the tenors as well, the ah, do, ah lyrics. This change in time catches the ear, and it makes you go, oh, cool, the bass is doing something fun. Now back to the music. Oh, cool, now the altos are doing something fun. And that's something that is so effective in this arrangement, is your attention is pulled to every section, and it never drags away from the song. Again, because we know what's going on above. Your brain can wander a little bit because it recognizes what's happening. Until the next thing, at which point it's pulled over there. But I think this is another thing that Jamie's done really, really well, is he's sectioned off when a group of people is doing something interesting. It's never confusing. It's never, oh, who's this? You know where it's coming from. And that's a really good choice.
Darling, it's better down where it's wetter. Take it from me. Up on the shore.
That's nice too. Take it from me. They actually settle onto, I think.
Down where it's wetter. Take it from me.
Yeah, they settle on. Take it from me. They settle on the tonic chord. Take it from me. Me. They settle on that chord, and then they immediately re-attack it and add in the minor seventh. So you get the me. That's that note in there that's making that chord suddenly very juicy. That's a really nice choice, because it would have been really easy just to go take it from me and have another group doing the take it from me, or take it from me, and just land straight onto that seventh and have that jazzy feature immediately. But what they've done instead is allow themselves to make that more unexpected than it might have been. You know, if you're sitting there, somebody like me who's written a lot of music, that's a da-da-da-da, that's a very logical, especially because you know you're going to da, our next note is going to be the subdominant, and you lead into that with that minor seventh note. That's the connecting note between, or the most common connecting note between your tonic and your subdominant. And so we expect it, and then it doesn't happen, and then it does. That's really smart writing.
Darling, it's better down where it's wetter. Take it from me. Up on the shore, they work all day. Out in the sun, they slave away. While we devoting.
There's some really nice things going on here. With the chorus acting as instrumentation, effectively. Sun, they slave away, is what Jamie sings, but you get that lovely slave away. The chorus holds that note on, and it's great because it means Jamie can go off and do something else, but it's like holding down the sustain pedal on a piano, or having a string section that bridges the gap between the end of that phrase and the beginning of the next one. They're doing that vocally, which is a really nice technique.
They work all day, out in the sun, they slave away, while we devoting full time to floating under the sea.
That I love! The early introduction of the orchestra. They've cut, what, one beat out?
While we devoting full time to floating under the sea.
Yeah, there's one, the lute play, the flute, the cup play, the harp, the lute comes in on beat 4, not on beat 1. And so they've, again, that expectation. It's kind of, this is almost what it felt like at the beginning with the basses bringing that note in early, but that was still a bar of 4/4. It was a fake out. Now they've done it. They've actually cut a beat. That is so cool, because they've hinted it's going to happen, and it didn't happen, and now that hint suddenly pays off in this abrupt shift into the undersea orchestra. Love it.
While we devoting full time to floating under the sea.
Play the flute, the card, play the harp, the place, play the bass, and they sound and sharp, the bass, play the brass.
That's nice too. Again, such subtle use of the basses here. It would be so easy to keep them on doing the bomb, 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 or whatever it happens to be, you know. Instead, you've just got this do, 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 and that's, is it even half that? Yeah, that's speed. That's really, really nice, because it kind of gives space for focusing on the lyrics. And if there's one thing about this section of the song that I think is incredible with, I said the same thing, I think, or if I didn't say it, I meant to, with voice play when they covered this in the Little Mermaid medley. The enunciation here has to be good, because there's a lot of fish being thrown at you, and then you're rhyming them, and then you're immediately going on to another fish or seafood or you know, whatever, crustacean. It's going from animal to instrument to animal to instrument to animal to instrument. And if you don't know what those animals are, you can surmise a certain number of them, like carp and harp. If you hear harp and you didn't hear carp, you can kind of make the connection. But it's a lot of information thrown at you very, very quickly. It almost becomes a patter song. Patter song, if you haven't heard the term, is basically where somebody sings very, very quickly. The quintessential example of that, of course, is I am the very model of a modern major general, which is extremely rapid. This isn't that, but it's tipping its hat in a way. It's a combination of a patter song and a list song at this moment in time. And you need to know what's being said. And they make it so abundantly clear, and it's brilliant.
For they work all day, out in the sun they slave away, while we devoting full time to floating under the sea.
Play the flute, the card, play the harp, the place, play the bass, and they sound and sharp, the bass, play the brass. The chub, play the tub, the fluke is the juggernaut.
Oh, and what's so nice is those first four, they take fairly straight. They sing it as if they're just singing the words, and then they slip into the characterization. Listen to like the brass. I mean, I guess lute, harp, and bass are all plucked instruments, and so the do does feed into that. But now, bum 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 bum, very trumpet-like. That movement, that drop, the chub play the tub, all of a sudden shifting it down there, it gives us a different tonality. And you've suddenly got this very different feel to the music, and then you get this lovely, this descending chordal element here.
The fluke is the Duke of Soul.
The fluke is the Duke of Soul. And they fall off that. But the chord resolves down to the dominant, or reaches down to the dominant before that, down there, which drops down to the tonic. That movement is spectacular in particular. That's really, like, how do you communicate soul without dropping completely out of the style of this arrangement? Like that.
The bass play the brass, the chub play the tub, the fluke is the Duke of Soul. Hooray, he can play the lings on the strings, the trout rocking out the blackfish, he sings the snout and the spot, they know where it's at, and all that blowfish blue.
And again, they've gone back to being mostly straight again, but through that whole section, notice how things kept changing. The blackfish he sings, all of a sudden it was just the ladies. Then the basses came in with the dum 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 again.
Hooray, he can play the lings on the strings, the trout rocking out the blackfish, he sings the snout and the spot, they know where it's at, and all that blowfish blue.
And I love that you can see, is this Aaron here? I love you can see him anticipating a little bit there.
And the spot, they know where it's at.
Right there. He's just, I love that whole section. He's just like, and then they look like they're having so much fun. It's infectious. Like, I'm smiling because they're smiling. Like, look at everyone, well, granted, names. Not sure who's in the middle of the tenor section there. Looks a little bit nervous right now. I suspect that's a mouth shape based on what he's singing. But you just see everybody as you go around, and they're all just grinning.
And all that blowfish blue.
That's a nice change as well. Ba-ba-ba. Going, again, these different changes, they signify a shift in the song. They take us somewhere else. And even though they're actually quite jerky in this, like, that's a bit of a... I mean, it's not unexpected. It's a very logical progression, especially if it was going to expand to be a bigger sound. But I think they're all managed so very well in this arrangement. There's something about the way Jamie's done it that just really works.
Under the sea, under the sea, under the sea, when the fortune begin its music to me. What do they got?
Oh, that's great. Whoa! That's a lovely little embellishment. I love it. What he's doing with this is fantastic. It's capturing the fun. And this is it, right? Like, ultimately, if he wasn't panicking about trying to stop Ariel going up to the surface, this is Sebastian in his element. Like, he is the musician, he is the composer, he is the conductor. And it's just fun hearing somebody represent that vocally. Also, Jamie's voice is gorgeous, just saying. This is lovely. Oh, that little bit of a growl there. Hot crustacean band. That's really nice. Just gives a little bit of emphasis to that word. You know, it's not just a crustacean band. It's a really good one. Oh, hello. We have a visit. Are you coming up? We are graced with the presence of Sir Timothy. He says, I want to make my presence known. I heard you down here. I know what you're doing. Please feature me. Hey, bud. Where was I? I don't know. Oh, hot crustacean bands, right. Yeah, I think I've made the point. That's too nice too, the anticipation on each little... Yeah, again, it's that trick, and this time it's, you know, it's not a fake out because it's an anticipation, it's not a cut note, but it's that same thing of just pushing a little bit. They're coming in a little earlier than you thought. Crustacean band each. That's really nice. Just keeps the motion going so strongly. That's genius too. I didn't even pick up. Because here's the thing. They've established that when they are singing do-do-do-do-do-do-do, they're singing the intro to Under the Sea. And so it's fantastic that he chooses to use that same sound with the same parts to then sneakily shift into The Lion King. I did not catch that happening, and I thought I made a mental note that I want to comment on that as soon as it comes up in this, because I picked up on it a couple of bars after EJ started singing. This is so clever.
When you know how to jam you under the sea, each little slug you cutting or rug you under the sea, each little...
And actually also with the basses as well, though. That's a very Lion King sound, I think. It's so subtle. It's absolutely brilliant. I love that, and I think it, the fact that he then goes back and sings more of Under the Sea disguises it even better. Brilliant arrangement. Fantastic.
Little slug you cutting or rug you under the sea, each little snail you know how to wear you, that's why it's hotter under the water, yeah.
Oh, Jamie's rhythm, like, what's going on? He says, I know it's about to be my song. Jamie's use of rhythm is masterful. It really, really is. Hotter under the water. Small thing, just brings focus onto those words. It's great.
Each little snail you know how to wear you, that's why it's hotter under the water, yeah. We muck you down in the muck you under the sea. No one's saying do this.
And then, to fake you out even more, you get that super high. It's... Just want to go back on that section one more time. This is so good.
Rock you under the sea. Each little snail you know how to wear you, that's why it's hotter under the water, yeah. We muck you down in the muck you under the sea. No one's saying do this. No one's saying be there. No one's saying stop that.
And now they've changed tonality in the, not tonality, timbre in what they're actually doing with the harmony. Because now you've got this hoo-ah sound going on, which is not what we had. They're giving a soundscape for the song. It's brilliant.
This. No one's saying be there. No one's saying stop that. No one's saying see here. Free to run around all day. Free.
I love the the body motion they're putting into this. Like, they're just wholesale selling everything they're doing full force, and it's great.
Free to run around all day. Free to do it all my way.
Oh, EJ! That sounds so good. I love his voice here. There's something so kind of all out about what he sings, even though he's not necessarily, completely belting the entire way through. The fact that he's got that, it sounds so happy, it sounds so ambitious, it sounds so, I'm going to own everything, which is perfect for Simba.
Hey. Everybody
Nope, I'm not going to get away with that.
Everybody look right.
Sorry. Tim just, the way he sat in my arms, that was too easy. Let's actually go back and, oops, he says no. I'm done with you now. Oh, that's all just so good. I wonder how they handle that key change, because they're just a straight out.
All my way.
Yeah, literally just a hum. We're just going to go up. So simple. I think it does it in the song even, but it's something about the way it works. And then Kate's octave button here. Holy smokes. She blew me away in the Princess Medley for obvious reasons, if you've heard that. But that is incredible. Like, that's the soprano equivalent of a subharmonic drop. And I don't have any clue how to do that. Like, going up. Going up is hard. Going down is hard too. And maybe because I'm a, baritone who can sing in a bass range, I understand low notes better. But that, how? And it's so clean. Like, that top note is bang on pitch. It's not... She doesn't go airy or anything like that. It's full voice. That's all I have to say. It's also a really nice chord that's happening underneath her. It's just really hard to pay attention to it. Like, very, very simple. Everybody's doing it in rhythmic unison. And just leading perfectly into the beginning of this next section of the song.
Everybody look left. Everybody look right. Everywhere you look right.
I love that there's an interesting blend of some people actually looking left and right and some people not. That's quite funny. I feel like you watch this 11 times and get 11 completely different choreographic responses at that point.
Look left. Everybody look right.
The altos, sorry, are fully invested in looking in the right directions. Jamie looks left and then doesn't look right. Like, it's just quite comical seeing that. It would, of course, be awesome seeing them do it in perfect unison, but there's something about the unrehearsedness of them just goofing around in the studio that's so much fun to watch.
Everybody look left. Everybody look right. Everywhere you look, he's standing in the spotlight.
Oh, EJ, even simple things. Everywhere you look, I'm... Like, it's simple run down, or like, well, says the person who can't do them. But it's not as complicated as what I know he is capable of doing. But it adds so much to that moment in the song.
Look right. Everywhere you look, he's standing in the spotlight. The spotlight. Every creature go for broken sea.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Yes! Yes!
It's gonna be King Simba's finest.
Oh! There's something about his voice that suits doing that so damn well. It's I'm so glad. Like, I looked at my list of things I had to react to and I went, Voctave's overdue. Given that I've only had one song on the channel so far. And I'm so glad I picked... This is exactly what I needed today. I didn't get a chance to react last week. Work was a little bit too busy, and I was just fortunate that I'd got a reaction in the can. So I had that buffer there where I was able to release one and not miss my schedule. But this is exactly what I wanted to come back to. Like, it's great, because Just Sing was this extremely happy, uplifting song, and now I've come back into an extremely happy, uplifting song, and it's been a long week, and this is exactly what I needed to hear. Also, my goodness, EJ. Oop. There we go.
He's standing in the spotlight. The spotlight. Every creature go for broken sea. Let's hear it.
I love that he leads into it with a long note too. Like, you don't expect him to riff at that point, because he's got this lovely and I just, you could expect that, and yet he goes into crazy riff territory, like completely bananas riff territory.
Every creature go for broken sea.
I love that. The ladies are all just like, yeah, we know what's coming.
Like the spotlight. Every creature go for broken sea. Let's hear it in the herd and all the way.
It's so hard to listen to what's going on underneath with EJ doing that, but it's also really, really good.
Every creature go for broken sea.
That's nice. He drops down to just the men for a second, and so you have a change in timbre again. Now we have just the lower sections, and there's still, because EJ is on such a high note too, we still have that sense of breadth, even though the entire top end of the choir suddenly isn't there for a second. And it doesn't matter, because we still have breadth. If that had dropped down to a very compressed, sort of lower section where everybody was within one octave, it might sound a little muddy and sort of out of place. But because EJ's up, because there's this walloping great belt that he's got coming out here, it allows that change to happen and not sound wrong. It's great.
Let's hear it in the herd and all
And that's so nice too. He's not up in, you know, high alto, mid soprano territory by any stretch of the imagination, but he is way up, and yet he backs off for a second and gives them space to sing their bit before he then comes in right on the end of it and goes into another crazy riff. I mean, wow!
Let's hear it in the herd and all the way.
Actually, one thing, even just, and it's such a simple thing, but right at the end of that riff, the fact that he scoops back up to the note he was just on. If you listen to the very end of it, he has this wah. I can't do it, obviously, but it's just a nice touch. It finishes. It's a little bit more finality to that little section of this riffing, and I really, really like that. That's a cool choice.
Let's hear it in the herd and all the way. It's gonna be King Simba's finest way.
Oh, and Kate's gone way up yet again. I'm saying Kate. This might be Tiffany. I know she's capable of going up as well. I don't know how to differentiate those two voices yet. So if I'm doing Tiffany an injustice here, my apologies. I'm assuming it's Kate just because she was the one who was doing the stratospheric stuff last time around. But I don't want to make judgments and be wrong. I can't tell the difference yet.
It's gonna be King Simba's finest way.
Oh yeah, I just
And that's so cool. It's like, is that in the lyrics? I don't think it's in the lyrics. But, oh yeah! And it's kind of like almost like a little rock belt, just for a second. And it's just that the joy, the effervescence that's coming out of EJ at that point is so good for the character of Simba as he is at this point.
Be King Simba's finest way.
oh yeah, I just can't
Oh! Those chords right there are stunning. Firstly, I love the build. Just can't wait, just can't wait, just can't wait. That's really, really nice. But the chords they hit on that third wait and then change to, that's magic.
To be our guest.
I should have seen that coming. I got it with Stardust, going from what was it? Was it Let It Go into How Far I'll Go, or the other way around? I got it there. I should have, as soon as that they sat on that B, my mind didn't clock it, but it should have done, because this is genius and it works so well. Ah, magic.
To be our guest, be our guest. Our command is your request. It's been years since we've had anybody here, and we're obsessed.
I love this. This is Kurt, I believe. I love his voice for this. It's funny. This is one of the first times I've heard Lumiere sang professionally, not with a French accent. And I'm here for it. It sounds good. I love that we haven't quite gone like a sort of top, middle, bottom thing, because we've already heard a lower note from who I think is Aaron. So there's, we could go lower, but I also like that we're not going right down to the very, very bottom, because I feel like it wouldn't quite suit this. There are times where I'm all for the bass, you know that. If you've been on my channel before, you know I love the bass sound. But I feel like it's nice that they gave Kurt this one, and that he's singing most of it in this kind of low baritone range. I think it's a really, really good fit for this, and for the sound that they're creating with the group.
Guest, be our guest. Our command is your request. It's been years since we've had anybody here, and we're obsessed.
I also love the bass rhythm that we've got there. There's bum 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 bum. They're just leaving that one note out in the center, and it gives a slightly different. You could just be bum 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 bum, but that's a little repetitive. And it's nice that they're doing something a little bit more interesting than that.
Been years since we've had anybody here, and we're obsessed.
Also, great choice to actually say that. Here and we're obsessed. Sure, fine. But this is different. This is a slightly different sound. And the fact that all 11 people say that at that moment creates a stark contrast, vocally speaking, to what we expect to hear from the song, and it's really, really nice. And, you know, I hesitate to accuse anybody of being obsessed, but they clearly love this music. They are obsessed with it. And it's nice. There's something about them just saying that in that moment that I think really fits well, both with the song and with the group.
It's been years since we've had anybody here, and we're obsessed with your meal, with your ease. Yes, indeed, we aim to please. While the candlelight's still glowing, let us help you, we'll keep going.
Oh my goodness, Kate's up at the back there, so quiet, but you can hear her. I like that too. This is being treated, again, differently. We have a different style of harmonic rhythm. We have a different style of vocal. He's singing it quite straight. With your meal, with your... whatever the... Why do I not know the lyrics to this?
Aim to please, with your meal, with your ease. Yes.
Needs? Is it? With your meal, with your needs. Yes, we only aim to please. It's very straight, slightly cut off at the ends. We're getting a different kind of feel to this yet again, and it's lovely because it makes each song so unique, which I said earlier, but I'm repeating myself. But yeah, point stands.
Indeed, we aim to please. While the candlelight's still glowing, let us help you, we'll keep going.
I love watching Tiffany in this. She's having such a good time. Like they all are. But it's those moments where somebody just suddenly throws their whole body into what they're doing. And the smile on her face, it's so sweet. And it's just, oh, again, infectious happiness.
You will keep going. Course by course, one by one, till you shout, enough, I'm done. Then we'll sing you all to...
And that's so nice too, because that ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, that bass line kind of ba-dum, ba-ba-dum, it's kind of giving this emphasis to that beginning. So in some ways, they were almost setting up now for this kind of chorus liney re-entry here. And that's a really nice choice because it's giving very strong motion. It gives the force of that downbeat. It's very, very clear where it's landing every time, and it's giving a very, very strong sense of tempo, even as we've slowed right down just to kind of come, you know, to springboard back up again.
One course by course, one by one, till you shout, enough, I'm done. Then we'll sing you all to sleep as you digest. Tonight you'll probably...
Gorgeous. This now a little bit more traditional, like we're getting a little bit more of what you would expect from the original, which is nice. They don't have to stay completely... Just think how to say this. They are completely Voctave the whole time, but it doesn't have to be a completely Voctave-specific arrangement the whole time. They make these really good nods to the originals, and I think that's a great choice too, because it's you know, it's that old saying, you have to know the rules to break them. They're proving they know how to do it the Disney way, but they also know how to do it their own way. That's really cool.
We'll sing you off to sleep as you digest.
There's a lovely harmony. Sing you off to sleep. Is it?
You shout, enough, I'm done. Then we'll sing you off to sleep as you digest.
Oh, it's on as, I think. I feel like there's a note change in there somewhere. I'm not quite sure. It's not... I don't think it's the 7th. But there's something in there. Just listen to the change on as. The chord, one person shifts, I think. And the chord just fills out a little bit.
You shout, enough, I'm done. Then we'll sing you off to sleep as you digest.
Or is that just a trick of my ears? I'm not sure now. It sounds fuller.
Tonight you'll prop your feet up, but for now let's eat up. Be our guest. Be our guest. Be our guest. Please be our...
Oh, okay. I want to jump back. I'm lost in listening to this. And hello, bud. You coming up again? You want to come say hi to your fans again? Oh my goodness. He says, I'm not so sure. He says, I refuse to speak. What was I saying? I don't know.
Tonight you'll
That's lovely. You get this full force. Whatever the notes are. I'm obviously not singing the right note. But this is where Voctave has a guaranteed unique sound over the other groups that I'm reacting to, at least on the channel, because there's so many of them. And they can have this like complete blast of harmony. And it just sounds so incredible. I love what they're doing here. And then they go into this, be our guest, be our guest, be our guest, be our guest. Suddenly it picks up speed from having this. There's something that pulls you back a little bit about having that legato, that very slow, linked together. And then we break into a much more broken up rhythm and, this to and fro between instead of all going at once. God, great stuff. Oh, lovely stuff. And the chords are completely Disney. The sound is completely Voctave in many ways, and I love what they've done there. But that be our, the chord they hit on our, is such a Disney chord for me. Like, that is a very, very classic Disney sound in my mind. And they just absolutely nail that change from this beautiful harmony on B, and then bringing in these notes that just flesh that chord out, make it very slightly dissonant. My chord theory should tell me what that chord is. I'm no good at that. I've said this before on the channel, but I haven't said it for a while, and if you haven't been around, I'm not one of these people who can just sit here and say, oh yeah, that's a B flat minor 6th with an augmented 14th, or I don't know. I'm making numbers up. That's a nonsense chord, but I don't have that skill to just know what a chord is by listening to it. But I know I love it. And that's honestly all that matters, really. Their sound there is just perfect for the end of a song. Oops.
As you digest, tonight you'll prop your feet up, but for now let's eat up. Be our guest, be our guest, be our guest, please be our guest.
And I love that he finishes on this beautiful third. Like, lovely tone on that. Be our guest. And it just sails. That's wonderful. I love Kurt's voice. I'm interested to hear, like, obviously we've heard 3 of the men here. I'm interested to try and hear the other 3 somehow. But yeah, this is, it's fantastic. I love this ending so much.
Be our guest, be our guest,
and then Jamie.
please be our guest.
That's great. Just bringing the Under the Sea back and bookending it where we began. That's lovely. That is wonderful. Oh, man. Voctave, you kill me with how good you are. That was just beautiful. I was absolutely here for exactly that style of thing tonight, and I'm really, really glad that this is what I picked. I really am. Wonderful stuff. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Very different to the other a cappella I'm covering, like voice play, home free, pentatonics. Much more compressed, 1 person per line, sometimes 2. But this, oh god, this, you guys can't see it. There's cat hair flying around like crazy. It's making, I've got like big sneezes coming on. I'm not allergic. It's just it all went up my nose. Yeah, it's a very, very different sound. And it's an extraordinary sound, and they are so good at doing what they do. That was marvelous. They do Disney so very, very well. And obviously, yeah, I know, some of them are Voices of Liberty. I went back, lots of people had said, I sort of mentioned it to me in the past, and I actually took a video of Voices of Liberty the one time I've seen them, and I went back and looked, and I did not recognize any faces in the chorus. So unfortunately I didn't get to see any of them there, but I know how talented Voices of Liberty are as a group, and it does not surprise me at all that is where some of these folks came from. That was stunning. Jamie, EJ, and Kurt have extraordinary voices. They were lovely to listen to. My goodness, EJ, that riff. Wow. Yeah, that was extraordinary. That was truly, truly extraordinary. I loved it. and I hope that you enjoyed this video of me just gushing over Voctave and Disney and all that sort of thing. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you did enjoy. Please do like the video if you did, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you'd like to know when my videos come out. I aim for 5 PM EST on Fridays every week, and then sometimes more. And do head over to buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts if you would like to, and you can support the channel there. And thank you so much. Have a wonderful, whatever time of day it is that you happen to be watching this, wherever you are in the world. I hope that you stay safe, take care, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.